All right, everyone, this is it. Day 22, last day of grammar for semester 1. Okay, today we're going to be talking about punctuating relative clauses. So, this pretty much boils down to understanding that there's two kinds of relative clauses, essential and non essential. And bottom line is this: essential will not need commas, and non essential relative clauses need to have commas around them. All right, so an essential relative clause is the only thing that provides information about the given subject or object that it is attached to. Okay, another way of explaining this is the essential relative clause is the only thing within the sentence that specifies the given subject or object. All right, so what this looks like in a real example. Okay, so let's go with the man who robbed the bank. All right, first of all, we have our relative clause here. Okay, now we know that the relative clause, or just simply who, is representing the man. Okay, so who represents the man? And the whole clause is just information about the man, which is why the man is underlined. All right, now if we look at this sentence, okay, we know that this is a complex sentence because it's a combination. We have an independent clause, the man was arrested, with a dependent relative clause, who robbed the bank. The two are combined, it makes a complex sentence. But if we were to just reduce this down to the independent clause, okay, so just the man was arrested, there is nothing in that independent clause that specifies the man. This guy could be absolutely anyone. Okay, there's nothing specifying the man. It's just some guy was arrested. But when we add the relative clause back in, when we add this who robbed the bank, it starts to specify the man. It starts to narrow down the list. Okay, so it's not just any random person who was arrested, it's the man who robbed the bank. That guy was arrested. That specific guy, the bank robber, was arrested, not just anyone. All right, so the relative clause adds this level of specificity to the subject. Okay, and it's the only thing that specifies our subject. So therefore, because it's the only thing that specifies this subject, it's an essential relative clause, meaning we're not going to put quotes. We're not going to put quotes around it. However, let's jump down here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip right to this one. Okay, this example right here. If we change it a little bit, and instead of just saying the man, if I say my long lost brother who robbed the bank was arrested, okay, now it's a little different. So notice we have our relative clause right here in green, who robbed the bank, but I also put these words in green, my long lost. Now here's the reason I put those in green. They are not a relative clause, but I put them in green because, like the relative clause, they are also specifying the subject, which is brother. They are also specifying brother. So it's not just any brother, okay? The brother was arrested. No, no, not any brother. It's my brother, my long lost brother. Okay, so our subject is already specified by my long lost. So now our relative clause, while it's still adding information about brother, it's now extra information. Something else has already specified the subject. Okay, so this is no longer the only thing specifying it. It's extra, it's non essential, and we put commas around it. All right, so that's what a non essential relative clause is. Okay, it's a clause where the relative clause is not the only thing providing information about a subject or an object, and it needs to be placed in commas. Something else specifies the subject or object before the non-essential relative clause does. Okay, now this is also true if we use people's names. So instead of saying the man or brother, if I just name him and say Mr. Smith and I use the proper noun, you really can't get more specific than that. Okay, so our subject is definitely specified now, and the who robbed the bank is going to be a non-essential relative clause. So we put it in commas. Example number 3, the committee's plan, which was poorly executed, resulted in the destruction of our city. Okay, plan is the subject, and again, it's already specified when we say the committee's plan. Okay, of all the plans in all the world, which one are we talking about? We're talking about the committee's plan. Okay, so it's specified, and now this here is extra, non-essential, put it in commas. And that's the difference. Okay, if it's essential, it's the only thing specifying the subject or object, no commas. If it's non-essential, something else specifies it first, or specifies the subject or object first, place it in commas. And that's that.